Mustafa, welcome to the last episode of the Shop Talks, Commerce Talks podcast today in London. We're going to talk about the grocery market in Turkey. You're representing Migros in that area. And before I deep dive into your career, maybe introduce yourself and Migros in Turkey.
Okay, so thanks for inviting me. Migros in Turkey. By the way, it's been always confused. Migros Turkey and Migros Switzerland. We have no organic relations now. It's been the Turkish Migros was founded by the Migros Switzerland, but then they left the country many years ago. So we're only good friends. Okay,
but there's no shareholder connection.
No,
but you're sharing the logo still.
Exactly. Yeah, we share. The logo, and we are good friends. Okay. So Migros Turkey is one of the leading grocery retailers of the country with almost 2,700 stores all over Turkey with more than 50,000 employees, and starting from the convenience store up to the hypermarkets, we have different banners: premium supermarket, convenience store, neighborhood stores. But we're mainly a supermarket operator.
And the supermarket is also operated below the Migros brand and logo. So
exactly.
I go to a Turkish customer, if I ask him, okay, what kind of supermarket do you like? He would state, yeah, I'm always buying at the Migros supermarket.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So the same representation of those 1M, always stands for a small supermarket. If there are 2 M's, then it's a mid-sized supermarket. If it's a 3 M's standing on the logo, it's a large supermarket, kind of,
Okay. And, we have a lot of listeners that are based like in the German-speaking markets where we have the discount supermarkets like Aldi and Lidl, where everything is like super cheap, but the assortment is not so huge. And we have Edeka and Rewe, which is a bit broader assortment, bit more expensive. If I had to compare Migros Turkey with the German-speaking market, so where should I place Migros?
It's almost the Edeka of Germany, but to be honest, I wouldn't be accepting this being expensive thing. But still, yeah. If you have to categorize the things, we're like Edeka of Germany.
Okay, we are Commerce Talks, obviously a podcast where we're focusing on the e-commerce journey. And last thing I've heard about the Turkish market, as grocery market, was the approach of Getir, an ultra-fast delivery service, to entering the German market. Didn't work out well so far as I can tell, but this gave me the impression, okay, there must be a lot of innovation going on in Istanbul, in the Turkish market. So how is the view of Migros when it comes to the online grocery shopping?
Yeah. Okay. You made a very good comment regarding the innovation in the Turkish grocery market, because proudly saying Migros Turkey is the first brick and mortar grocery retailer in Europe, including the UK and Ireland, who started its online operations back in 1997. I'm open to any challenges, but I haven't been challenged by anyone else. So we started before Tesco, before Carrefour, before Edeka. So we're proudly saying the first one. So if it is innovation, yes, we are a very innovative country and company as well. And ultra-fast delivery also popped up from this country, from Turkey. So Getir was one of the pioneers of that industry. And when we look at the online grocery industry, almost 75% of the online grocery market is delivered under 1 hour. So if we categorize online...
75%?
Exactly. This is the number one. If you consider ultra-fast or express as something good, it's the largest share in the world. Russia is the second one in terms of express versus scheduled. Okay, but Turkey is number one with 75% of the market share is delivered in under 1 hour.
Okay? And I guess you're like representing a big part of this market share. Then. But how is this possible? Is it then picked from store? Is it like dark warehouses?
No, the ultra fast guys, they're all picking from their mini warehouses or their ultra fast delivery dark stores. Okay, we also have our ultra fast delivery service as well. Okay, but we are picking from ultra fast mini dark stores which we established in the back rooms of the stores.
Okay. That's the warehouse of the store.
Exactly. But we also have scheduled delivery service, which is huge. Okay, that's why we still hold the line share in the online grocery market, and we're using a kind of a robotic automation there, a kind of a collaborative robotic system, and we're picking with them. And if we do not have a robotic automation in that specific store, then we're picking from the store.
Okay, got it. But what is then how can you imagine like the average order from a Turkish customer? Like, I know Istanbul is kind of a special case in Turkey, but is he or she ordering like every day, like for 15 euro value in a basket, or is it a weekly order for like 100 euros? So how is it working there?
Okay, if you asked this question to me a few years ago, I would have told you that it's mainly a weekly order. Okay, scheduled delivery. People were not in a rush, but we were still providing a same-day delivery service. Before this ultra-fast guys popped up, like 60-65% of our orders were same-day, but still they were a weekly order. It was a pattern of weekly orders. But then they came into the picture, and now we have a different view of the market. So people are, still a part of the people are still ordering weekly, okay, but rest of the market just now is they're ordering probably a few times a week for their daily purchases, and probably whenever they need something urgent, they place the order immediately. So it's a mixed market now.
And what kind of delivery infrastructure you can use then? Do you have like your own delivery fleet that is like going into the dark stores in the back room of your micro stores and just picking there, or is there like a central fleet you can just hire and rent like everybody else?
First of all, 4 years ago we invested in a last mile delivery startup. And now we own 75% of the company. That's why we mainly do our own last mile delivery through that startup company, which is a subsidiary of our company now. Okay, but on top of that, we also use some self-employed delivery people. But we all organize and we all manage the fleet. That's very important. We do the routing. We take care of the technology in the last mile. So even if we use a third party van, we all manage that with our own resources. Okay.
And what would you say? What is your best guess of the e-com market share in grocery in Turkey? In Germany, we're talking now 1.5-2% of all grocery retail is now online, and we have a growth of like 1 percentage point per year, which is like 2 billion per year. What is the grocery share, the online share in Turkey?
If you exclude the marketplaces, which sell mainly diapers and big box items with cargo, if you exclude that, if you do not consider this as an online grocery, then it is something around 3+%. Okay.
Not more.
No, not more than that. Yeah, if you include those guys, then it would go up to like 4-5%.
But okay? That's more like drugstore assortment.
Kind of.
And what is driving the growth? Is it like people don't want to go to the supermarket anymore? Is it more is it convenience? So people like really sitting at home say, I just don't want to go. I'd rather pay an extra fee for the delivery.
Mainly due to the convenience, because Turkish people really, they love getting services. You cannot see a gas station in Turkey which is self-service. Okay?
No
way. So we love being served. Okay, so that's why I think the click and collect never worked in Turkey. No, from day one, 1997, we started home delivery plus click and collect, but it never took off. Okay.
I love this learning because I don't get this kind of click and collect strategies we are still seeing in Germany because some retailers don't have the delivery capacity. Is it still possible today to go to the Migros website in Turkey, put my order together, and say, okay, I will pick it up at the store like at 4 p.m.?
Yeah, you can do that.
But you will say that it's like less than 5% of all online orders.
No, almost 1.5%.
Okay, that is a relief for me to hear.
By the way, let me tell you, because of this, everything going around in Europe, like in France, a lot of, pick-up points and click and collect points, we just even tried this curbside picking with big signs and promoting people, giving 5% discounts. No, it's not working.
Okay.
It's a cultural thing,
And since you're doing it now, you're doing it now for over 20 years. How can you describe a bit like the organization behind your e-commerce operations? I guess there's no channel conflicts anymore in Migros because it's so long now there. But it's like can you describe like the team size taking care for the user experience, for the picking app, for all this stuff?
Now, by the end of last year, we decided to spin off our online operations. Now we have a separate company for that, okay? But still, operations are taken care by in an omni-channel way. The good thing is that back in 2018, the CEO, he's a very visionary guy, young and visionary guy. He decided I was in charge of the online, and he decided that I should be taking care of the offline as well. So kind of a reverse takeover, organizational reverse takeover. So the guy in charge of online, who is moving to the, who's just starting to take care of the whole online and offline operations. That's the thing. Then there's no channel conflicts. Okay, so that move was a very, very smart one. Okay.
And then we have seen in Europe, and especially in Germany, Netherlands, Czechoslovakia, the Czechian, I don't know how to pronounce in English. We see businesses like Picnic that are following like the milkman model, which has a very, very efficient like drop rate. So they're reaching like 9 customers per hour and very low prices. We see Knusper now in the southern part of Germany, which is trying to group regional providers like your bakery, the butchery, which you can order within the next 3 hours. I think Picnic is still next day at a specific day. So do you see similar services or market potential for similar services in your market?
No. This ultra fast guys, they change the whole landscape. They change everything upside and down. So when there is somebody offering you a more convenient and a faster service, who would go after a kind of a Picnic model? By the way, I really admire Picnic guys. We know them, they know us. They came to Turkey years before. We went to Amsterdam to visit them.
The CTO is sitting at the same chair tomorrow.
Really? 10
a.m. for podcast.
That's great. So unfortunately, I would love to have such a model in Turkey because it's cheaper, it's more effective, but no. When your consumer is spoiled with a better service, it's not easy to offer him a worse service, okay?
But how strong is Getir then in Turkey? Because I would argue like in the German-speaking markets where we have like Flink and Gorillas, yes, the consumer is spoiled a bit, but the assortment is limited. So still, like even in markets where Gorilla is active, plus where Picnic is active, no Picnic customer would change their weekly purchase to Gorillas because the prices are much higher, the product availability is much lower, the convenience, yes, is better, but you don't need it every day. So when do you need something like in 50 minutes?
Okay. First of all, I have never seen one of my friends or customers who have switched to Getir because we're really providing a comprehensive. We're providing this scheduled. We're providing 45 minutes express, full assortment, and also 15 minutes limited assortment ultra fast. So there is no reason for a Migros customer switch to Getir because we're doing everything at Migros prices. Getir's prices are like 15% more than us. So
and the limited assortment.
Of course. And even in our ultra fast, their ultra fast is around 1600. Our ultra fast is around 2600. Even at where's the best selling items in our ultra fast businesses: cucumbers, steak, lamb chops. I mean, real grocery items. We're not a snacks company.
Yeah.
We're not bringing snacks or colas to customers. We're really a grocery company. And our basket size in ultra fast is much, much larger than them. So there's no reason for a customer to go to Getir, but yes, they look like a very cool company. They're perceived as a cool company. The young people, the generations that likes them, okay, but they're not stealing from our cake, but they're growing our cake, because once they popularize the concept,
okay.
we make use of that. So that's very good. We love them.
Okay. And the one thing that was holding back e-commerce growth in Germany in the grocery sector was always like the price point. So you know the price in Germany.
Yeah.
The margins are very tough.
Very thin,
So so there's not so much room actually for added value. So Picnic actually was the first company I saw since years that was able actually to break through with a smarter model.
Yeah.
What is the price points in Turkey? Are the margins as thin as they are like in Germany, or it's like in France?
No, just in between. Not as thin as Germany, but by the way, our offline business, offline grocery is mainly a discounter business, because there are three very strong discounters in Turkey. So they really drive the prices down. But still, the margins are in between Germany and the western part of the world. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And we always keep our offline prices at the online operations, and this is a very, very important factor. Eventually, even those Generation Z guys, they will get back to us.
But what I don't get, because so we don't have like one of the big retailers like Rewe, Edeka, or Aldi covering this on a broad scale in Germany. So Rewe tried it with pick from store a couple of years ago, but it didn't succeed because they were lacking convenience capabilities, drivers, assortment, delivery slots. Now you have it available on a national scale.
Mm-hmm.
with a trusted brand,
Mm-hmm.
but the share is still 3% in the market, which for me seems to be very low. Because if we are looking at other categories, like in Europe, how they scaled over time, they scaled much faster. They scaled like 3% this year, next year like 5%,
Mm-hmm.
and some like went to like almost 70%, like in consumer electronics. So what is holding growth back still in your market?
First of all, our online percentage or proportion of our online sales in our total sales is around 17%.
17
as a company.
Ah.
What I was talking to you was the total market,
okay.
3%. Our company's online penetration is 17%. Okay, the reason that it's 3% because Turkey has still an unorganized retail market. Like mom and pop shops are very, very dominant in Turkey still.
The corner stores.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, but in my company, it's 17%. But if you still ask me why does some of the people do not shop online? I think before COVID, the main reason was touching and feeling. So somebody else preparing your order on behalf of you, especially the fresh food. But now, during COVID, people had to place orders online, and they saw that we're really picking the orders as if they are picking. So it was a game changer. That's why in the post-COVID era, the percentage of online is still increasing, not decreasing. Okay?
Yeah.
But, still there are some people left which really loves physical shopping.
I get this, and that's actually the percentage what I try to understand, because it helps me a lot to project like grocery growth in other markets, and it's 70% is huge already. So I would expect if you're using parts of your store warehouses for the fulfillment in the future, when this share grows to like 20-25%, the actual store will shrink a bit and the warehouse part will grow. Is this correct?
Probably, yeah. Let's add one thing on top of that. Non-food part of our world is declining. So internet and the marketplaces are really eating from the non-food general merchandise part of the
So
grocery
like cheap tools you are selling, or a garden chair set, or whatever.
Exactly, toys, books, kind of things. So in every part of the world, non-food general merchandise part is shrinking in terms of grocery retailing.
Yeah.
So that's why we will anyway have some extra space. So we'll just enlarge the dedicated areas for picking, and probably decrease the space for offline shopping. That's gonna happen. This is our vision, or let's not say it vision, but that's gonna be the reality probably.
How many consumers in Turkey can you reach like with 1 hour? Because you have like the 3 different like store sizes. But how many consumers can get this kind of service?
No, we have the online service in 81 cities of Turkey. We have 81 cities, and we serve all of the city centers. Some of the towns we're not serving, but with the online, probably we're serving. I've never calculated, about probably 80% of the country we can reach in hours.
What are the biggest growth barriers still? Is it availability of stuff like riders, delivery personnel, space in the warehouse, technical capabilities?
To be honest, the technical capabilities, because with this,
they might have a solution here. We're going to talk about that later. Yeah.
Finding people, finding really good, software developers is not anymore easy for anybody else in the world, and for us as well. That's probably the most important factor that is limiting the growth in terms of infrastructure investments. Yeah.
Mm. But there were a lot of layoffs in the recent months from the tech industry, and there were some high tech companies also with like a lot of outsourcing capabilities in Turkey. Did this help you to find more talent?
Years ago, we made a tough decision, a very strict decision of insourcing all of our software development thing.
Oh.
Okay, you didn't like, I know, but that was a very tough decision because we suffered a lot from outsourcing and third-party things. So that's why we decided to insource everything. We have a very well-working, in-house, developed, homegrown, online grocery system end-to-end. And that's why, lack of software developers always affect us, independent of the,
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Interesting statement here. I will also use this in my case studies in the next time. Then the next part of the question. So, are you also then developing like apart from the? I understand you have this like 1M, 2M, 3M strategy.
Yeah.
But with like online capabilities and fulfillment capabilities, to you might come to the conclusion to develop certain brands like. Super high quality vegan line, for example, where you say, okay, we are able to build like a new warehouse.
Yeah.
A delivery guy and logistics guy never will touch like meat and food, and there's also a huge market like maybe in Istanbul or other bigger cities. Is this something you have tapped into?
Yeah, we have, other than the mainstream Migros brand, we have 2 other brands. One of them is called Macro Center. Macro Center is like the Waitrose and Marks and Spencer of UK, or Whole Foods of Trader Joe's of US, and we have such a premium supermarket brand, and we're doing the online for them as well with separate vans, separate people, better packaging kind of thing. And the last thing that we're doing is we acquired a startup called Taze Direct. Taze Direct is the one-to-one copy of Fresh Direct in US. Okay, so everything with the philosophy of farm to table kind of thing, organic things, healthy, well-being, kind of thing. We have such a brand as well. So there are different brands: Migros, Macro Online, and Taze Direct.
How many people in the Migros organization are working, specifically for the UX?
In the headquarters of the online operations, there are almost 200 people. But of course, in the field, there are thousands of them. I don't know the number, but in the headquarters of online operations, it's almost 200 people.
So from what you describe and how you are running it, that seems to be a very advanced e-commerce operation. Is it advanced enough or sexy enough to expand into other markets beyond Turkey?
Very, very good question. Nowadays, it's a big discussion. Not due to the fact that we want to expand, but our friends from other countries just asking us to help them. Okay, and
you're also your friends with the same logo.
No. I mean, it could be. We're not after. By the way, we haven't decided it yet. We're talking. We're discussing this in our team. So once we do it, no, we don't want to use our logo, but instead we want to help them to promote their own brands and help them from a know-how point of view. It could be.
Though it could be like then a Turkish Ocado solution. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean it's very clear to me.
Okay. I said we haven't decided on that yet, but
okay.
It's a good question.
Okay, got it. Then maybe last part of the question. So when I think about like the assortment part, what we saw was like the quick delivery services, Flaschenpost for beverages in Germany, Getir, Gorillas. The way how people shopped in like this very small app kind of limited the space for many brands to show themselves. So obviously whatever was on top at Gorillas or Fling, beer, chips, meat, I was buying. I was not willing to scroll down hundreds of lines of products, which I would do maybe in a standard online shop experience, or which I do actually when I'm in a retail environment. Is this also the case with Migros, or how is your approach to app?
As I told you, we're quite different. Even in our ultra fast delivery business, we're quite different than those pure play guys. As I said, we're not a snacks company. We're not delivering snacks. We're delivering lamb chops. So people are really spending time to find out the products they are looking for. It's not a kind of an impulse buying. Yeah, I know that it's the case for Gorillas and Getir, kind of an impulse buying pattern. No, that's not the case for us. Of course, we do a lot of promotions for the people to make last-minute impulse purchases as well. But the main motivation, the main job to be done is really, really providing or just purchasing the real grocery items required by the customer.
And then maybe focusing a bit on the logistics side. So what we also see is a lot of innovation on the transportation capabilities, coming up with new electronic vehicles like Picnic, for example, or with better mofas or whatever. Is this also something you're looking into? Is it kind of an area where you think there's some leverage?
Regarding this, drones or driverless delivery, I think we find it a little bit early for our country, okay. But regarding the electrical vehicles, we have been using it for more than 10 years now. Even though Turkey is, winter conditions in Turkey is quite tough, and with those very, very first generation electrical vehicles, we had hard times in winter times, but we've never stopped, working with them. So we still have electrical vehicles, and we're just planning to increase number of them.
Yeah, that's why many drivers of Deutsche Post in Germany or DHL are replacing them, because in wintertime the reach, the capabilities are very reduced compared to summertime.
Exactly.
Super interesting case, Mustafa. Definitely lots of takeaways for me, and lots of interesting quotes for my new keynotes in the next year. I can take away. I will invite you now to the booth party, because it's going to be the end of day 2 here of London Shop Talks. And thank you a lot for being guest in Commerce Talks.
Thank you very much for inviting, Alex.
Thank you.